Good evening. It is so great to be with you tonight. My name is Jim Bolin, founding pastor at Seven Springs in Powder Springs, Georgia. And joining me tonight is
Lynda Smith. We're so happy you could join us tonight.
Yeah, we're excited, and we want you to know that throughout the program, we're here to take your calls. Please call us at 770-300-9828 with prayer requests. We want to pray if there's sickness or financial, whatever it is. There's nothing that we won't join with you in prayer about tonight. So, and join us there. And also, if you can stream live, we are streaming live at www.watc.tv, as well as on the apps Apple TV, as well as Roku and Truly. So go to one of those, find us, tell your friends about it, and join us tonight because we've got an exciting program, and it's going to be great.
We do. We have some wonderful guests joining us tonight. Lisa Gordon, who's the president and CEO of the Atlanta Habitat for Humanity. Kaitlyn Crussel is the director for the Pregnancy Care Center in Jonesboro. And WSB radio host Monica Matthews will join us as well. And for music, we're so excited to have HECTOR NORMANDO. Going to be a great lineup for the evening. Great.
So take a moment, go to the phones, give us a call right now if there's something that's on your heart, your mind that you need to talk about. There's folks there to receive your phone calls and to minister to you. But we want this night, though, to be informative. There are some very important issues that we're going to be talking about, some things we're going to be looking at, and probably as important as anything, ways that we as believers can get involved in our communities, and with the Habitat for Humanity and the Pregnancy Center, those are important, and we want you to listen to that, be involved, and join us. So call a friend, and let's just enjoy the evening together.
Yep. And then Monica has a phenomenal testimony. Some life challenges, which I think we can all relate to, that I think will be an inspiration for all of the listeners tonight.
So here is HECTOR NORMANDO singing for us tonight, Flamenco Praise.
Me envuelves, me tomas, me abrazas, tu aliento, Señor, me vivifica. Me calmas, restauras mi alma, me das nueva vida por tu palabra. Si en el camino siento desmayar, yo sé que en tus brazos tú me sostendrás, porque tú eres la fuerza que mueve mi vida. Yo quiero servirte mejor cada día. Tú eres mi todo y en ti yo reposo. Me vivifica. esperanza. Tú quitas las dudas que hay en mi alma. Diriges mis pasos, me pones en alto. Me das el descanso, disipas mi llanto. Si en el camino siento desmayar, yo sé que en tus brazos tú me sostendrás porque tú eres la fuerza que mueve mi vida. Yo quiero servirte mejor cada día. Tú eres mi todo y en ti yo reposo. Cuando estoy cansado, tu aliento me vivificas. Tú eres la fuerza que mueve mi vida. Yo quiero servirte mejor cada día. Tú eres mi todo y en ti yo reposo. Cuando estoy cansado, tu aliento me vivifica. Me vivifica.
We are so excited to have Lisa Gordon here from the Habitat for Humanity affiliates in Atlanta, and just to talk about all of the phenomenal work that's going on in Atlanta. I'm so excited to have you here.
So happy to be here.
Thank you for taking the time.
Exciting.
Yeah. So Atlanta, I know, so first of all, let's just back up a little bit. Habitat for Humanity is a huge brand in the U.S., and a lot of people don't realize, I think, that there are a lot of individual offices that make up the Habitat for Humanity network, and so Atlanta being one of those. You want to tell us a little bit about the structure of the overall organization and sort of where Atlanta fits in that network?
Sure. Atlanta Habitat is part of the Habitat International network, and that just means there's 70 countries and 1,300 affiliates, and we are one of them as part of a large federation. Each of us goes out and does the work, the common mission to make sure everyone has a decent place to live, but individually, each of the different organizations are tied into the larger organization, but also do individual work based on what's happening in their market. So in Atlanta, in a different country, around the world. There are different needs, and so it allows for the flexibility of the model, and we all work together. And I think over the years since 1976, 9.8 million people have been served through all of that big, large network. Which is phenomenal. Isn't that awesome? Well,
and I think the coolest part that we were talking about is because you do serve your own community, you do in fact you aspire to meet the needs of that particular community, and each community has different needs. So a cookie cutter approach doesn't really work.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about like how. So I know you've been in your role how long now? In
July it'll be 3 years.
Okay,
three very happy years.
Yay.
I've been really happy about the work we're doing at Habitat.
Okay.
With working on the mission in Atlanta, because housing is critical. There's anywhere between, depending on what report you look at, 80,000 to 100,000 people that need affordable housing in some of the low and very low income earners in the country. But those are our service workers. They're people you see at the dry cleaners, chefs, you know, people that drive the MARTA bus, teachers, para-teachers, janitors. It's all the people that make our community work. But they ought to have a safe, decent place to live that they can afford, and they need to be able to have options to be home buyers.
Right. Right. So tell me a little bit about, we were talking earlier about the traditional role of Habitat for Humanity Atlanta, and how since you've come in, you've expanded all of that great work to include something, probably a lot of work that most viewers don't even know that Habitat does. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the programs that you guys are invested in now?
Absolutely. We're really excited that this year is our 35th anniversary. So we've been around since 1983, and we just had a big gala about a month and a half ago to celebrate that. And we had 500 of our closest friends join us. And it was a fundraiser, so we were able to have resources for the work we do. But the traditional model for Atlanta Habitat has just been a single family new home build. So that work has allowed us to impact the homeowner and then the community. In July of 15, when I joined the team, one of the things I noticed is as we were doing the build and we would get to dedication day, is you walk up the street and you see just blight. So we have this beautiful new house, but maybe there's a senior or a veteran and they need help. Or you see trash in the community. And so one of the things that struck me was that we're leaving our homeowners in a community that still needs our help. And what other programs can we do in this community that are still about housing and housing options and home building and community building? And what we did is adopt the Habitat International has a neighborhood revitalization model, and we brought that to our affiliate, which just means now we do critical repairs for seniors and veterans. We do touch-ups of paints, which we call a brush with kindness. We do community cleanups, and we also look at how can we rehabilitate homes that people have abandoned in that community, and what can we do just to make that block look better. So we call it our block by block approach, because we feel like if we can make this block look better and keep adding to the blocks, before you know it, it just has a catalytic effect. And so we've wanted to be a catalyst for change. The other part of that is working with other nonprofit partners. A lot of nonprofits are working in the same communities, but there's not a lot of conversations about how can we leverage our dollars together. So we've put together several partnerships with other nonprofits that mean we can work together to build that community. So not just our single homeowner, but how do we be good neighbors in that community, and how do we help that neighborhood transform in a way that it wouldn't have if we wouldn't add these extra programs.
Well, and then it's sustainable,
Absolutely,
right? I mean, I think that's the cool thing that I took away from our conversation is, you know, the one house at a time is great for that family, but then, as you said, the neighborhood, the community itself is kind of left in the same situation. So the new approach is really community-wide and elevating the entire community so that it's truly a sustainable community moving forward.
There's so much challenge right now in Atlanta in our neighborhoods, and some of the disinvestment that has occurred over time. It's really hard for one organization to impact that. We need multiple organizations, and we need the people in those neighborhoods having a voice around what happens, not where we're doing programs to them or for them. We're doing it with them. So we want to be good neighbors in those communities, and we've been building those communities for over 35 years. So how can we do more?
It's a lot of homeowners.
Absolutely.
35 years.
Yes,
Wow,
we have 1,600 homeowners in the 35-year history that we've been building.
That's such a legacy. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're excited.
So you also mentioned a program that probably our viewers don't know about as well, called Aging in Place. And I believe you guys are doing sort of some pilot work right now with Aging in Place. Can you tell a little bit more about what that program looks like and how it impacts seniors?
Absolutely. When I first joined Habitat, somebody said to me, what are you guys doing on senior housing, and what does that look like in 5 to 7 years? They said, when the silver tsunami happens, what are you going to do for housing? And so we started looking at what are approaches that we need to be focused on, as well as what's happening at International. And they actually have an agent in place policies and support, and we became an agent in place affiliate, which just means we're part of the active network and we're doing things to partner with organizations. So we have a pilot program that is funded through grants and with International, where we have national church residents, and they go out and do home assessments for seniors, and they look at everything from their health, their wellness, their fitness, their housing needs, and they come back and we look at how we can develop a plan for that senior, and then we come in and do the housing improvements, and they work with other agencies to provide the other needs. We think that's really important because as more seniors retire and get to that point where they need to make adaptations to their homes, that we need to be looking at it more holistically. But we're not a service provider for senior services, but National Church Residences, and we're really excited about that partnerships. It's been operational for about 60 days now, and we're getting reports in, and we're having really good results.
That's awesome. You know, and I think that's something too that's so critical is the collaboration. And just from a community perspective and the community investment and determining what a community wants for its neighborhood. And I think, you know, based on our conversations about Habitat's approach and kind of, it's not bringing in a program to apply to a community. It's really listening to the residents of that community and determining what they want for their community. And that differs across the country, and I'm sure in Atlanta, neighborhood to neighborhood, it looks different depending on what the infrastructure needs are versus the age of the residents and, you know, the children who are there, the education system. All of those are you know, aspects of that broader plan. But same thing with the aging in place. I mean, you just said you're not a service provider, but you bring in all these other partners so that you holistically approach the needs of those seniors in the home.
I think what's important about that program is the key thing you said was we ask the seniors what are their needs. So we're not coming in predetermined that we're going to give someone this service or that service. Part of that is a conversation with the seniors. What are their priorities for what it is that they need? And I think it's really important. We have, at our local affiliate, we have established a neighborhood engagement office, housing and neighborhood engagement, and that staff is there so that we can get out in the community more and hear from folks. We can be at the neighborhood meetings, we can have conversations, and we can find out what are their needs, because I think a lot of times we're so smart, we think we know, but we don't know. We have to hear from the people that are part of the community. I know I wouldn't want someone coming in telling me what I need. I need to tell them. And so it's that level of respect, and it's a level of communication. And I just think it's us being good neighbors. That's what good neighbors do. They look out for each other.
Then you're really partnered. Yeah, it's great. I know that Habitat for Humanity is heavily dependent upon their phenomenal volunteers. So how do you guys solicit your volunteers in Atlanta? And I think you do something a little unique in that you do like a Saturday volunteer opportunity to kind of pre-build some of your stuff in your warehouse. Is that something that you guys do?
Yes, we have. First of all, thank you to all of our wonderful volunteers. This is Volunteer Week.
They're awesome.
This is National Volunteer Week, and we actually are having a celebration on Sunday for our 13,000 volunteers. I don't think that many are coming, but we are going to have a couple of hundreds, and it's just to say thank you. We do a couple of things with volunteers. Our volunteers can come to our office, they can come to the build site, and we also have a restore, and they can volunteer at the restore. And we couldn't do any of this work without the volunteers. We have Saturdays where our skills supervisors come out, and they come out every week and they help our house leaders build the houses. And then we also have opportunities for them to help with our families through family services. And that's just how we get our homeowners and how we support them. And so we have lots of volunteer opportunities. And Saturdays, we do build walls in the warehouse, and that's a big part of building over 50 houses a year. So lots of work, lots
and that's
of hands.
A lot of houses.
That's a lot
so
of
when
houses.
you think about that, that's almost one house per week.
Almost.
So
that's right.
That's right. High
I need
volume.
to start using that.
Yes.
I like
think
that.
that's a house a week. It puts it in a different perspective.
I know. I can say that. I build a house a week.
Exactly. So tell me a little bit. I know you do have a restore.
Yes,
one
we
restore
do.
in Atlanta. And how does that tie into the greater work of the affiliate?
The Restore is a great concept. It's basically, I call it a discount housing furnishing mart. Basically, it's where you can get great bargains. Ours is located off of Chester Avenue in Atlanta, and we actually get donated goods, furnishings, appliances, doors, windows, anything that you would find in your house, and then we sell it back at a discount to the public, and then we use those funds to advance our program and our mission. Last year, we had sales of over $1.6 million.
Wow.
So about $800,000 we were able to use towards advancing our mission, and that built about 8-10 houses.
That's a lot of work.
And, yeah, so a lot of work. It helps us subsidize and supplement the cost of building, and also it keeps all of that stuff out of landfills.
Exactly. That's
the
beautiful
key
piece.
is that it helps the environment too. So we are really excited about the restore. We just built a new facility about 3 years ago, so it's a huge store.
I've been there.
And,
it's beautiful.
Oh, isn't it great?
It's beautiful.
I love it. I have to keep myself from going in there. I'm always buying stuff.
Yeah, you're enticed to buy
I have to go.
things.
Yeah, I have to go like monitor how many times I go in a week.
I did read a little story I'll share real quick. I don't know, probably you know this, but it's on the Habitat site. So the Restore program actually started back in the early 90s, and it was just leftover material. And before green was green, some of the affiliates decided, you know, someone could use that half of a sheet of sheetrock or a few nails that are left over, and that sort of was the beginning of the Restore concept, which I thought was fascinating.
It's a great
so it was a green program before green became really well known, to keep those products from going into landfills. So
especially the cabinets, a really good one we get is we get a lot of cabinets, and when people do their kitchen upgrades or upgrades their house, we get those cabinets pulled out, and we have great sales on that, on the cabinets.
That's awesome.
So that's one of the ones
awesome.
those would go straight in the
It's a win-win.
straight in the landfill. Yeah.
Win-win for the person getting the cabinets, and win that it's not going in the landfill, and it's generating funding for the great programs in Atlanta. So tell me a little, I know that Habitat, we talked earlier about Habitat, not really known as an advocacy organization, but housing is so critical for so many people in the United States. So I don't know that all of our viewers realize that. And it's, you know, housing is connected, of course, to education and health and all of these other issues that we tend to focus on. You mentioned earlier that you're sort of a part of advocacy, sort of a new initiative that's rolling out in the U.S., but what does advocacy mean to the Atlanta affiliate, and how do you guys work with the city and the municipalities, you know, in your area, in your service area?
One of the things that I'm really passionate about is policy, because I feel like good public policy means that in the future programs will be sustainable and will have good, whether it's economic development or it's housing. So the types of rules and laws that are enacted really directly affect what happens in the long term. So I think for affordable housing, right now we're having a crisis around it, and part of that is just land. How do we get a hold of the land? Because if you don't have the land, you don't have affordable housing, as well as you need the people. And people need to have the income, they need to have the ability to purchase a home, and they need to have life skills. Most of the folks in our program, they're not only the first-time home buyer, they're the first person in their family that owns a home. Hard to imagine where everyone in your family has always rented and not been a homeowner. What does that mean? And so all of those skills are needed, but you also need the infrastructure and you need the materials to build the home. So for us, advocacy at the local level is getting the word out about what is the need and what are programs that work. Atlanta Habitat is a sustainable program, as well as Habitat around the world. We have, in the last 3 years, had 50 of our homeowners pay off their mortgages.
Wow.
That is just incredible.
That's amazing.
But all of the people in our program, even today, probably couldn't qualify to get the conventional mortgage. But with us, they get a zero-interest mortgage. They're able to be home buyers. They pay, they have life skills, they have financial literacy, and they continue to grow, and their family grows. All of the kids in the program, they graduate high school, not all, but many of the kids, and much more than if they weren't in a stable home, end up in just great conditions of where it's intergenerational, the impact that we're seeing. So I think the advocacy is around making sure people understand just because someone needs a home, they want it to be just like our home, to have nice furnishing, they want a place for their family. And right now, it's just not affordable for folks. Even the rental market is very, very expensive. And so if you make a moderate income or low or very low income, you have a limited ability.
Well, if you're a single
If you're a single parent with all the costs and expenses you have, it makes it really difficult. But one of the things we did as the network is we went to the DC, and over 350 people went and met with all our legislatures.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
tried to make sure they understand how important affordable housing is. And
that's fantastic. That's great. We'll look forward to hearing more about that campaign over the next year or so as it rolls out. It's been such a pleasure to have you here. The work that you guys do in Atlanta is phenomenal. It's so impactful. So you must have great pride in leading that team and making sure that all of that work serves the families.
We're just excited about being able to serve people and to just help people get ahead and have great places to live.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to pitch this over to Jim in the prayer room. He's waiting there with the prayer partners.
Thank you, Lynda. Thank you so much. And wow, you know, that's the whole thing of the Atlanta Habitat. What a powerful thing, helping people with their homes and all. God bless them. I'm in the prayer room, and you know, prayer is a vital part of what we do here on this program. We're not here just to entertain you or just to talk to you. We want to get involved, and we got some men and women that are here tonight that are ready to pray with you. You know, prayer is, in fact, Jesus said men ought to always pray. And I know we probably think about that and think, how in the world can that happen? But prayer is agreement, and we want you to call us, give us the opportunity to just agree with you that whatever you're facing, whatever you're going through, that we're going to believe with you that God can make a difference. And I've got several right here, that many more, but I just want to share these with you real quick. There's someone fighting or involved in spiritual warfare. We want to pray about that. Another one here is talking about an inheritance situation, and they need for that to get settled. We have another that is believing for a job situation. And how many of us know there's problems on the jobs today? And then there's one here for their family. You know, it doesn't matter what the need is, personal, family, financial, whatever it is. We're here to pray and believe with you. So give us a call. It's 770-300-9828, and give us the opportunity to pray and to believe with you, because I really do believe that prayer makes a difference. And let's join HECTOR NORMANDO is going to be singing "Your Breath Gives Me Life."
Si me ves afligido, ayúdame, mi hermano. Si me faltan las fuerzas, préstame tu ayuda. Y juntos venceremos, aclamando al Padre que nos dé su ayuda. Soy heredero de una corona de vida, soy heredero soy heredero de una corona de vida, soy heredero de la riqueza del Padre, soy heredero. En su palabra está escrito, yo lo creo, soy heredero de una corona de vida, soy heredero de la riqueza del Padre, soy heredero. En su palabra está escrito, yo lo creo, soy heredero de una corona de vida, soy heredero de las riquezas del Padre, soy heredero. En su palabra está escrito, yo lo creo, yo lo creo, yo lo creo, yo lo creo, yo lo creo.
Thank you, Hector. Wow, what a powerful song, what a powerful voice. And it's just strong, so strong. Hector, thank you so much. I'm glad to have with me tonight an awesome young lady who has stepped into an incredible opportunity to help some people. And Kaitlyn, it's so good to have you tonight. Kaitlyn Crussel, Crussel, I get that right, Crussel. Welcome her, great.
Thank you.
And she is the president, or the director, of the Pregnancy Care Center in Jonesboro. So Kaitlyn, it's so good to have you tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, you're great. Now, I understand something happened about 7 or 8 months ago in August.
Yes, I got married.
Got married.
Yep, I got married to my best friend, Brandon.
Good. So right out of college, you guys
Yes,
got married, moved from Knoxville, is that correct?
Yes, we both went to college in Knoxville, graduated in April, and then got married in August.
Wow,
Yep.
wow. And then you came to the Atlanta area. He took a position as a youth pastor.
Yes, it was definitely a God thing why we're in Atlanta, because
Yeah.
we both ended up getting our jobs at the exact same time in the exact same area. Right after we were looking for a little bit, not knowing where we were going
Yeah.
after we got married.
Wow.
So,
And so then you were in Jonesboro there, actually Fayetteville.
yes.
And the pastor, if I understand correctly, was the one that told you about the opportunity,
He
correct?
did, yes. He was informed about the old director, her retirement and everything, and so he knew that my passion was in counseling and ministry, like women's ministry, and
Okay.
so he let me know, like, she's retiring, you might want to get involved in any kind of way you can. So I did. I applied and I got the job.
That is awesome. Well, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so excited about a person of your background, and also the passion that you had for women, and in particular, young women, period, that find themselves pregnant and are thinking maybe they are. Tell us a little bit about what a typical day might look like. What happens when a woman walks in the center there? What happens?
Okay, so at the pregnancy center, we offer free pregnancy testing for the women in the community. So on a day-to-day basis, we see maybe 8 to 12 girls,
Okay.
strictly for pregnancy tests. That's in a span of like 7 hours.
Okay.
So we stay pretty busy with that. We also offer parenting classes, so they make appointments. They sign up for a parenting program called Earn While You Learn, and then they come back every week, every 2 weeks, depending on their schedule. It's strictly off of their schedule.
Okay.
And then
Let's back up a second. You said when they come in, now are they tested for pregnancy then?
yes,
Okay, so
we administer the
Okay,
test.
so you offer that service there, so they can come in, they can just find out if they are pregnant. And are there any requirements that they have to go through after that, or do you just do that and then?
Yeah, we administer the test. We take them back into our counseling room, and then that's where I like to share the results with them as to if their test came back positive or negative, and then just kind of talk to them, get to know them a little bit, figure out where they're at and what they're expecting with the results, what they want to do. Because we're a Christian-based organization, so we like to share the gospel with these women and share different outlooks like adoption or
so
caring.
you're there really to save the lives of the children, encourage the mothers to carry the babies, but that's their choice.
Absolutely.
They choose whether they do or they don't. But if they do say, you know, I want to keep my baby, I want to bring my baby full term, you're not just there telling them that you're pregnant and we're going to pray for you, God bless you, and go, but you guys actually get involved in their lives at that moment. Now, the ages, what is the average? What do you think? Is it this mostly teenage girls or young ladies, or? We
do see quite a few teenagers. The youngest right now is 15.
Okay.
And then I would say the average age that we see is mid 20s, high 20s. And then the oldest client we have is like 43.
Okay.
So it's a pretty big range of women.
It's quite a range. Now, when you're talking to them in the counseling part of it, after they found out if they're carrying or not, and they find out, and they are, and you begin to talk to them about the future of that child and what it would, the different possibilities, but you said that it's an opportunity perhaps maybe to share the gospel with them. Now tell me what that might look like.
Well, I specifically like to bring up how a child is a blessing. Like, it's not a consequence to your actions, in a sense that this is a life that God's created, and He's giving you the responsibility to raise that child in the way that he should go based off of His word and His scripture and what He expects us as Christians to do to further His kingdom and stuff like that.
Now, how do most of the ladies respond to that when they hear that?
They'll sit there and they'll nod their head and accept it. We do get some cases where that's just what they needed to hear that day as they walked in, because they'll break down and cry, which will make me cry, and then we're just crying together. But it just depends on the case too. A lot of them are just very receptive, like they're going to sit there and listen.
Now, you mentioned that you started something relatively new for the Jonesboro Center, and that is some family training. Talk to me about that. When I talked to you earlier, you were excited about that.
Yes, we started in January our Earn While You Learn program. So
Earn While You Learn. Okay.
Yes. So as the women come in and find out that they're pregnant, we offer them this program that they can keep coming back every week, every 2 weeks, and they can learn life skills. They can learn how to parent their child, what to expect while being pregnant, and what to expect after you're pregnant.
Okay. So now that is a 7/8 month process for them?
Yeah.
I guess it kind of depends on where they come in at.
Yes, it depends strictly on how far along they are. So if they came in they found out at 6 weeks, then we'll start them really early in the program, like first trimester. But if they find out 4 months into it, we're not going to start them like first trimester. We're going to start them a little further along. So, and they can stay in the program up until their child is born. That's up to them, or they can continue to come.
Now, 2 years. How long do you continue seeing them after the birth of the child?
2 years.
Up to 2 years. So you guys are really involved in their lives.
Yes.
So you're talking about possibly 2.5 to 3 years.
Yes, that's
someone that
of
can
building
be
relationships with these women.
Now, the learn to earn. Talk to me about. Is there like a transfer where they receive goods or something?
Yes, so we have a clothes closet, a baby closet.
Okay.
We have everything that we have is pure donation. So we have clothes and diapers and wipes, baby bags, anything you can think of. And so as these women are taking these classes, they earn baby dollars, and then with those baby dollars, they can purchase all the stuff that we have in our clothes closet, so that they'll be prepared once the baby comes, and they're not scrambling for things that they're going to need.
Now, is your ministry there? Is it a volunteer base?
Yes.
So you really work off of volunteers.
Yes, we love all of our volunteers. We have a great volunteer base. And
now, how could they find out about that? What's your website?
We do have a website, pregnancycarecenter.info.
Okay.
So you can go on the website, find out how to get involved, or you can just stop by the center. We love having people come and take tours of the place and getting to know them face to face too.
Okay. Okay, now your volunteers, do they have to have any kind of special training or anything like that, or do you just do you take them through something to kind of educate them or help them to be prepared for something like that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
My assistant director and I, we will sit down with them and we will train them for about 2 hours, as to what a day in the pregnancy care center would look like, what their duties are as a volunteer. We've got 2 branches of volunteers, I guess you'd say, so like the counseling and then the clothes closet. So if they feel strongly that they need to like talk to women or God's leading them to counsel women, then we'll talk to them about that. Some women like to be in the background. They like to fold clothes and organize and do things like that. So then we'll teach them how to do that too. Okay,
good deal. Just I want you to think about this just for a second, about a testimonial. I'm sure in the, 7 months, 8 months that you've been there, without names or anything like that, of course, is there 1 or 2 of these situations that you've walked through, you've dealt with, that you feel like if you could just share what really took place in that girl's life and how now she's taking those steps, moving forward, and going to have her child? Is there 1 or 2 that just really has touched you? And I'm sure most all of them do, but
yeah. Actually, the very first client I had.
Wow.
So when I first started, I was super nervous. I didn't know like how a client session was going to go with these girls, and so the first client that I had, she was an older lady. She came in, she found out she was pregnant, and she's already had 7 miscarriages.
7 miscarriages.
7 miscarriages prior to this pregnancy, but she's also had 3 grown children as well. So 3 children, then the miscarriages, and now she finds out she's pregnant again. And so she was very encouraged because she found out so early. We do referrals too, so I tried to refer her to the closest clinic to get prenatal care and medicine and insurance and all that kind of stuff, so she can properly take the proper steps into caring for this child while it's still early, you know.
Now, what you said your first one, of course, it's got to be, the first is always special. But I mean, what in the situation though caused you to really know that I'm in the right place and I'm doing the right thing?
Well, like I said, she was very encouraged to be there. She knew she had just gotten off work. We were close to closing. It was kind of like a, do we take the client or not, because we don't know how long the process is going to take. So we ended up taking her, and she was just very grateful for the gratitude at the center, and she was just happy to know that people do care and people want what's best for other people. And so she was very, not only did I feel like I was helping her, but she encouraged me to know, like, this is God's ministry. This is something that God truly cares about, and so I really care about it too.
When you believe in life and you believe that the child is ordained of God, that while it may have been a mistake or what people may call it, or something that maybe they didn't want or wasn't prepared for, but nonetheless, that baby was already in the heart and the mind of God, and He already knew how that child was going to arrive in this world, and the child shouldn't be punished for that. And you have the opportunity, as I understand it, to really be able to speak life into these young women, into these women, and give them the opportunity to really think through the decision that they're making. Now, in this, it's inevitable that there's going to be some that they're going to want to have the child, but they're not going to want to keep it. And what are some of the reasons that they've given you for maybe not wanting to keep the child?
they're too young. Their parents don't want them to keep the baby, but they don't want to abort the baby.
Okay.
There's a couple of reasons that they do give.
Okay.
But we totally believe in adoption, and we do think that's a beautiful choice.
Great choice. Now, you have some agencies that work with you on that?
Yes, we do have a handful of agencies that we always have on call, that we can call them and make that connection from the client to the agency, and then they get to take care of them.
Okay, now, when that happens, are the parents-to-be, the couple, the family that's adopting the child, do they get involved in the girl's life then, or?
They can. It's complete. A lot of these agencies make it known at first that it's the girl who's having the baby. It could be her decision mostly. She can be as involved or not involved as she wants to. Same thing with the adopting parents.
Okay. So the adopting parents, are they responsible for anything? Do they help?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they do offer help. They help with the cost and different things like that. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
They offer a lot of like medical bill assistance and stuff like that, as if it were their bills, their child.
That's awesome. That's a great thing. You know, when you can think about saving a child's life, and I think for so long we Christians talked about, you know, how we feel, you know, aborting the child was not what we wanted to do. But so oftentimes we would just tell these young ladies, hey, we're praying for you, or you know, God's going to take care of things, and we just didn't get involved like we needed to. And groups like yours have come up over the years and have kind of filled that void. Now, what would you like to say to churches who are standing on the peripheral and they're talking and they're telling everybody you need to choose life? What can a church do to get involved?
Volunteer.
Okay.
Or promote pregnancy centers for sure. We're having a walk on Saturday.
This coming Saturday?
Yes, this coming Saturday, and it's going to be, it starts at First Baptist Jonesboro.
Okay.
So we're going to start there, and we're just going to raise awareness for pro-life and walk around downtown Jonesboro, and it's going to be like, I think, 2 miles.
Okay.
But I would definitely say just get involved, let people know that there are centers out there that do care for women in the community and want to make life an option for these
Let me ask you this. Do you have churches that support what you do?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And they get behind you and they're there. I'm sure they promote it. They talk about it. Now, do you go to churches and visit and do any type of educational programs with churches or with youth groups or something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I do like to go visit the pastors, let them know who I am, who keeps mailing them. And yeah, I like to make my face known in the community so they know that we are there. Okay. Now, do you actually go to the church and do some trainings and work with the kids, or with women's groups or things like that? Not so much. We do have a guy on staff that does do that a lot. Okay. Like, he is very big about going out into the community and doing all of that. As a part of your spiritual makeup, the person that you are, at what age, what time did you feel like, you know, I want to get involved in this area? I want to take this on. I would say I was probably 19. 19? Yes. Okay. I was a freshman, sophomore in college, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Okay. And it wasn't until my senior year that I knew it wanted to be a pregnancy center, but I always knew it was going to be women, like women's ministry, helping women in the community in some kind of way. Okay. So nothing in your childhood or nothing in your family that triggered something like that? It was just something that maybe God you feel like the Lord just spoke to you in that sophomore year and He put that passion in your heart and you followed through on it. That's a dream. Yeah. And you're getting to live the dream. It is. And that's an awesome thing. I'm so proud of you, so proud of what you're doing. Thank you. The lives that you're touching and the women that you're helping. And I'm certain that there's people out there right now that desperately need to know. And I just want to encourage, you know, everyone, if you're out there this evening, you're watching this, and you know a lady, a young lady, a woman that is struggling with having a child for whatever reason, and you're in the Jonesboro area,
you can contact. All of her numbers are there. Call Kaitlyn, make an appointment, or just go by and see them. But let's help these women do what all of us really probably believe in the family of God. We want to save life. So I want to encourage you, make the phone call and let's get connected. Let's join together right now as HECTOR or the NORMANDO. I am an heir. I got that spit out right. Come on, HECTOR. Let's sing, man.
Oh Jerusalén, qué bonita que eres, calles de oro, mar de cristal. Oh Jerusalén, qué bonita que eres, calles de oro, mar de cristal. Por esas calles yo voy a caminar, calles de oro, mar de cristal. Por esas calles yo voy a caminar, calles de oro, mar de cristal. Y dice, oh Jerusalén, qué bonita que eres, calles de oro, mar de cristal. Oh Jerusalén, qué bonita que eres, calles de oro, mar de cristal. Por esas calles yo voy a caminar, calles de oro, mar de cristal. Por esas calles yo voy a caminar, calles de oro, mar de cristal. ¡Ahí va! Cristo es la peña, lloré que está brotando, agua de vida saludable para mí. Cristo es la peña, lloré que está brotando, agua de vida saludable para ti. Ven a tomarla que es más dulce que la miel, refresca el alma, refresca todo mi ser. Cristo es la peña, lloré que está brotando, agua de vida saludable para ti. Dice, vamos Pablo. En el principio el Espíritu de Dios se movía sobre las aguas. En el principio el Espíritu de Dios se movía sobre las aguas. Pero ahora se está moviendo dentro de mi corazón. Pero ahora se está moviendo dentro de mi corazón. En el principio el Espíritu de Dios se movía sobre las aguas. En el principio el Espíritu de Dios se movía sobre las aguas. Pero ahora se está moviendo dentro de mi corazón. ¿Cómo dice? Pero ahora se está moviendo dentro de mi corazón. Si el Espíritu de Dios se mueve en mí, yo la amo como David. Si el Espíritu de Dios se mueve en mí, yo la amo como David. Yo alabo, yo alabo, yo alabo como David. Yo alabo, yo alabo, yo alabo como David. Si el Espíritu de Dios se mueve en mí, yo danzo como David. Si el Espíritu de Dios se mueve en mí, yo danzo como David. Yo danzo, yo danzo, yo danzo como David. Yo danzo, yo danzo, yo danzo como David. Lo que es esperan en Jehová. Lo que esperan en Jehová. Como las águilas, sus alas levantarán. Dice, como las águilas, sus alas levantarán. Caminarán y no se cansarán, correrán, no se fatigarán. Nuevas fuerzas tendrán, nuevas fuerzas tendrán. Lo que esperan en Jehová. Nuevas fuerzas tendrán, nuevas fuerzas tendrán. Lo que esperan en Jehová. Cielo y la tierra pasarán, mas tu palabra no pasará. Cielo y la tierra pasará, mas tu palabra no pasará. No, no, no pasará. Dígalo. No, no, no pasará. Cielo y la tierra pasará, mas tu palabra no pasará. Cielo y la tierra pasará, mas tu palabra no pasará. No, no, no pasará. No, no, no pasará. Y dice, no, no, no pasará. No, no, no pasará. Y deja, no, no, no pasará. No, 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 no pasará.
Thank you, Hector. Thank you so much for that. I am an heir. Powerful.
Phenomenal.
We got some news that just came in. If you would share that with us, Lynda.
So we've just heard the news that First Lady Barbara Bush has passed. So our condolences to the Bush family. She leaves a great legacy, awesome lady, tremendous work. And she was able to go out on her own terms, which I think is
That's a
fantastic.
good thing. Yes, and we're going to encourage you to call. Please call 770-300-9828. We're here to pray with you and to believe for God to do some awesome things with you. Now, we had a great first half of the program. Awesome.
Yep.
Excited about that. And just looking forward to what God's going to do in this next part. But I want to come on the heels of what Lynda said, and let's lift up the Bush family and let them know that we love them. God bless you. We'll be right back. So just enjoy, take a minute, take a break, and we'll be back with you and got some exciting guests in this second half. welcome back to Atlanta Live. I'm Jim Bolin.
And I'm Lynda Lee Smith.
And we're honored to be here tonight and to just lead you in a great program.
Yes.
And we're excited about what the Lord's already done and what he's going to do this evening. And we're thankful to, again, for the prayers and the thoughts for Barbara Bush, who has passed, and our prayers are with the family, and we thank God for them. And just know that the Lord's going to take care of them. Yeah. And we want you to encourage you to stay with us. And again, pray. If you need prayer, we're here to pray with you. 770-300-9828. Call, let us know your prayer requests. In fact, right now, just go to the phone and let's do that. And give us the opportunity to come into prayer and agreement with you that God's going to do some awesome, awesome things in your life.
And now we're going to hear another great segment from Hector Normando. It is good to praise you.
Alabro tu grandeza, tus maravillas, tu gran amor. Y no puedo callarme ni estar un día sin dar gloria a Dios. Aleluya. Es que te llevo dentro, en lo más profundo del corazón. Y es mejor que falte el pan, pero vivas tú. Bueno es alabarte, Jehová, bueno es alabarte, bueno es alabarte y cantar salmos a tu nombre. Bueno es alabarte, Jehová, bueno es alabarte, bueno es alabarte y cantar salmos a tu nombre. Alabo tu grandeza, tus maravillas, tu gran amor. Y no puedo callarme ni estar un día sin dar gloria a Dios. Aleluya. Es que te llevo dentro, en lo más profundo del corazón. Y es mejor que falte el pan, pero vivas tú. Bueno es alabarte, Jehová. Bueno es alabarte, bueno es alabarte y cantar salmos a tu nombre. Dice, bueno es alabarte, Jehová, bueno es alabarte, bueno es alabarte y cantar salmos a tu nombre. Pablito dice.
Thank you so much, Hector. Awesome. And welcome back to Atlanta Live with us.
Yeah.
We're excited about this next segment of our program. Got a great guest tonight. She's not new to the Channel 57 family. She's appeared in several other programs. She's also done Atlanta Live before, and she comes with an incredible testimony. But I'm excited tonight to have Miss Lisa. Lisa.
Monica?
I got to turn the page.
Go with that.
Go with
Monica Matthews. Yes.
Sorry about that. Monica Matthews Anyway, I'm sorry about that, Monica.
That's okay.
That's my bad.
Okay. I've been called many things.
Yeah,
Lisa's probably not.
That's not a bad one. No.
Right.
Well, it's great to have you. Well, I got to talk to you just for a few moments before the program started this evening and found out some things about you. And of course, you shared in the past about the difficult situation that you found yourself in with the passing of your husband.
Right.
And he died of what we know as Lou Gehrig's disease.
Correct.
And he was, what, 33,
He
you
was
said?
33. He was 30 when he was diagnosed. And actually, April 27th of this year will mark where are we? 17 years. My daughter, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, so he died in 1999.
Wow.
I was 28 years old.
Man.
And we were not aware of what he had prior to his diagnosis and being put on ventilation. So it was a rapid progression of the disease, and he presented atypically, so we weren't sure what he had.
So he was sick for what? You said about 3 years?
About a year we started noticing symptoms, but again, he presented kind of atypically, so it wasn't conducive to the typical presentation of the disease, and he was so young.
Wow.
He's also African American and American Indian, so it's not exactly prevalent within that particular ethnicity combination. So we just weren't sure what was going on. But about a month after diagnosis, he was on life support, and he lived another 2 years.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
My
Yeah.
gracious. So it was.
And I had a 3-year-old at the time.
Wow.
So yeah.
Now also a book came out of this too, right?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. When Jesus Isn't Enough,
Yeah.
but he's really all you need.
Yeah.
The title's a little startling for some people, but he's the ultimate meal for the starving single woman. So I really highlight my struggles as a single Christian woman, walking a very wavy, windy road with the Lord. And that journey's certainly not over, but for that particular segment of my life, I decided to chronicle our testimony.
Okay, now from that, several things begin to happen in your life. Things took a turn, and your relationship with the Lord obviously became much stronger. And you found yourself getting involved in ministry.
I did.
And some other things happened along the way that got you into the political arena.
Correct.
Into radio, and it's just kind of fascinating to hear how you've walked this walk. So kind of...
God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, he totally does. He does.
Right.
So I was in the music industry. I've been a singer since I was 12 years old.
Okay.
And sang professionally for a number of years. When my husband took a turn, I was a young mother, and I decided to leave the music industry entirely and care for him and my daughter. And then, and my daughter took a turn with ulcerative colitis, and she became extraordinarily ill.
How old was she with that?
She was 10 when that happened. So we had 7 relatively decent years. As a widow, it was very hard, and we lost all of our inheritance in an investment scam somewhere in America. I owned 66 payphones, but so so that's part of the testimony. It's in the book as well. But we found ourselves with a chronic illness, where she was very ill and close to death a number of times. And we did everything we could with Western medicine and Eastern medicine. We did everything we knew to do.
Holistic and everything.
Everything. And we finally got to a point where a friend of mine told me about a ministry south of Atlanta. We made our way there, and it was complete immersion for me, learning about roots of diseases and whatnot.
Okay.
And so we moved there, and I studied with that ministry for a while. It was fascinating. So I've fast forward, moved back to Atlanta, and I'd been a political writer for a number of years, but I was relatively apolitical. I just wasn't interested at all. I didn't know anything about who was what. And but I would write for people. It was actually beneficial for me not to have been politically involved. So I wrote for both sides of the aisle. And what I realized rather quickly was that my gifts and my talents were God-given. And the ability to write and to sway people and their vote is very important. And many times, the speeches that you hear coming forward are not necessarily from the heart of the candidate. They're from someone like me, who takes the time to study that candidate's audience. It is very premeditated. It is very calculated. And that's not to disparage politicians in the least. But I quickly realized that I had a gifting in that area. And with the election of President Obama, my daughter was being homeschooled at the time, and that ushered me really headlong into politics. And I was asked to run a House district race here in the Atlanta area a few years ago. And out of that really spawned an interest in, hey, between your ministry, between politics, have you ever thought about, and your voice, have you ever thought about doing radio? Kind of a cool story. So my first interview was Winston Churchill's great-grandson.
Oh,
That's
wow,
neat.
fascinating.
That was very cool, Jonathan Sands, and he and Wallace Henley had just penned a book called God and Churchill. And I thought that was very timely considering the climate of the country, politically and spiritually. So I reached out to him, and everything that could have gone wrong with the equipment did in the place that we were supposed to originally interview. So I was like, get behind me, devil. And I reached out to a friend of mine, Scott Slade with WSB, and I said, help. He said, no problem, come down. And ever since that day, he said, have you ever seriously contemplated radio? Because that was really good, and you have a lot of natural talent. And I am now on WSB every Sunday morning from 8 to 9 a.m., and I talk about faith, life, and politics.
Okay, take us to a typical program then. What is it? Just different folks come in, different interviews, or is it basically you?
It's basically me.
Okay.
I love having interviews. I love bringing other voices into the equation, and I do that quite a bit. Particularly during this political climate, I love to give space to candidates and really ask
on both sides.
On both sides.
Yep.
But I am a conservative, and so I know my audience, and as an entertainer, I should know my audience, and so I do, and I want to minister to the conservative base to get out of what I call their Jesus recliners. And we're all waiting for the Lord to return, and that's wonderful, and we should be and working in anticipation of that. In the meantime, what are we doing to occupy our territory? And so I bring people on to discuss current political issues, or like the ladies who have been on today, priceless, between teen pregnancy, the elderly being able to stay in their homes and live, where they can flourish. All of that's very important to me, to encourage people to stay involved and to stay engaged, and that your vote really does matter, and the church has been silent for too long. So there's nothing typical about me as a person. So there's nothing typical really about my show and how it will go, which is kind of the fun of it. Every Sunday is different. If I'm going through a hard time, you're probably going to know that. I'll share that with you. If I'm upset about something, you're going to know that too. If I'm happy, I always want to leave my audience with a call to action, motivated through the hope of Christ.
Okay. So in this setting, first off, it's fascinating that you can do that, and that you can balance this with the political polarization that's going on in our nation right now, and to be able to kind of navigate those choppy waters there with people and give them opportunity to share their thoughts and their views. Have you found yourself being put in a place where someone that is there is really diametrically opposite of you?
On my show?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah, and I love that.
And how do you react to that?
I love it because it is iron sharpening iron for me, even if a caller is dull. It's okay. I also fill in for Herman Cain from time to time, and his callers are very engaged and they're very passionate. I love his audience. I was just accused just last week, actually, of being a bit of a racist on something because I hit very hard topics like this. And someone said to me, well, why didn't you pull your golden parachute of having an interracial child? And I said, because the conversation didn't warrant that. That was a very quick way out of a polarizing conversation, which I wanted to address head on, which was my observations. One of my bumper commercials is, the 50,000-foot view with Monica Matthews. I try to stay on top of something. So I want to look I want to get out of the fray long enough to look down and see from God's perspective and allow the Word to inform my opinions, my passion, my disappointment, my grief, my heartbreak, my hope, my conversation. And that's not conservative or liberal, but it really comes from the heart of liberty, because I believe that's who God is the author of liberty. Yeah. So when I have someone who doesn't agree with me, I love it, because generally speaking, by the end of the conversation, we're friends. You know, if we could fist pump, we would. You know, they email me and they say, you know, I love it. I love atheists who email me inevitably after every show. Okay. You know, how could you? And what I find with the atheist community is, without fail, someone has failed them.
Yeah.
Whether it's another human or it's God, and I can't be mad at that, because I have felt that way. And it is only by His grace that I still even hold on to my faith with, you know, fingernails some days. So,
talk to me about your faith. How did you come to faith? How old were you, or was it a kind of a mixed bag of several different things that kind of got you there?
So I was raised as an Orthodox Christian. Okay. Greek Orthodox. Okay. And so my mother took me to church every Sunday.
And where are you from? Sorry.
I'm from Atlanta.
Oh, so you are native.
Am.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I've been here since I was around 6 months old, so I'm a native.
Okay, yes.
And I attended the Orthodox Cathedral on Claremont Road, and went to Greek school, Sunday school, and all of that. And I love the Orthodox faith. But after my husband passed, I found myself in a tailspin of life, where I was engaging in very non-Christian behavior, running from death, running from God, running from all of these things that I just couldn't handle anymore, because I didn't have an intimate relationship with the Word. It's one thing to say, you know, I colored pictures of Jesus as a child. I believe it's a totally different lifestyle when you finally are able to open those scriptures and it literally jumps off of the page at you and becomes alive. Yeah. I mean, it was life-altering. And so I fell down on my face one morning and I was like, I don't know who I am anymore. And if you don't show up right now, I'm not going to make it. And He did. And I opened the Word, and my life has never been the same. It literally went from being Chinese to me to, I hear you, and I see you, and I feel you, and thank you.
Did you continue with your affiliation or your relationship with the Greek Orthodox Church?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Once you're Greek, you're always Greek. I'm not getting out of that one. So, yeah, I'm very much so. I love the Orthodox faith, but I tell people I'm just a straight up Jesus girl now. So it's, you know, if all of the tenets of the faith went away, if all of the sacraments of the faith went, if this country ended up one day where we were having to meet in our basements and we couldn't leave our home with our faith, I've got that solid understanding of the Word in relationship to where if I couldn't go to my priest, I have a personal relationship with Christ. Right. And that's not to say that Orthodox Christians don't. But, oh yeah, I still respect my father even in his passing. And my mother still attends the Orthodox Church. But she loves to get down at black churches, at Buckhead Church, at Passion City. Like, she's a musician too. So we are like, you know, I'm over here jamming to this guy, HECTOR. You know, we love it. She's a soulful little German lady. And wherever we can go to praise the Lord is where we go.
That's awesome.
And do you feel, does your church support your radio show and your stance and all of your work?
Yes. Especially the Orthodox clan, I hear from them quite a bit. You know, we listen to you on the way to church. I run into people all the time. You know, I'll say my name in some public setting, and they're like, oh, I listen to you every Sunday morning as I'm getting ready for church. And I'm like, that's great. You know, and I, as bold and as non-churchy as I am on my program, because I don't speak Christianese on my program. I'm very real, and it's very raw, because people are living very raw lives. Yeah. People have been very accepting, and I'm very grateful for that. My station has been, hands down, as secular stations go, I've had nothing but support from them.
Yeah,
we just got just a couple minutes left, a few minutes left. What would you want to say to America right now in light of where we are as a nation, what we're coming into, another election cycle coming up, and the state of affairs in our nation, the unsettledness in the Middle East and all the stuff that's going on? I mean, what would Monica want to say to America right now?
Yeah, well, first I would say we're better than this.
Okay.
We're better than our social media campaigns. We are better than the triteness. We are better than everything having to be a social justice campaign. We know how to treat one another. There is a solid truth. Truth is unwavering. And this nation and our forefathers knew that this nation was birthed on the principle of liberty through the heart and the loins of the author of liberty. And so, you know, the world is counting on us to get it together and to unite. And so I tell my audience, find reasons to align with people who don't vote like you, who don't look like you, who don't believe like you, who aren't of the same sexual persuasion as you. In dark times, we shine the brightest. And this is the time for the church to rise up and take a stand for America, not necessarily against the world.
Okay. Yep. That's powerful. Wow.
That is powerful.
That is an incredible plea, because God knows we need it right now.
Amen.
With all the different groups pulling in so many different directions. Monica, I can't thank you enough.
Yeah.
I mean that. It's so encouraged.
God has definitely put you in the right place.
Thank you.
Utilizing your gifts.
I appreciate it. I'm very blessed.
It's great. I hope
Thank you for being here.
Hope you've been watching and listening, and give us a phone call quick. But I want us to go to Hector now. He's going to be singing again, How I Long for You. Hector, Normando. Thank you, Hector. One more time, man. The guy is phenomenal. What a
great musician.
Yeah, great night. And Lynda, it's been awesome being here and just listening to this.
To be with you as well.
Monica just did a phenomenal job there. I'm excited about what God's doing in her life and in our community.
Yeah.
Please call. It's not too late. Our phone team, they're there to pray with you. So please give us a call at 770-300-9828. And we want to pray with you about your prayer needs and believe with you that God is going to make a definite difference.
No need is too small. So we've had a great night. Again, just another great evening of looking at where God has placed individuals and the role that they play and the impact that they have on others. From Lisa to Kaitlyn to Monica, and even and Hector. All playing their role.
Singing in Spanish for us.
Yes, fantastic evening.
We were all kind of moving around here while he was singing. Powerful.
Yes.
God bless you.
Yes, have a great evening.